Today we're going to talk about football. You want to talk about football?
Yeah.
Let's talk about football. Let's go. Let's go.
You launched into that cold opener. I wasn't ready, and here I am. But
there you go.
I will talk about football. I love football.
Let's go football.
I see your Georgia up there, man. Your little Georgia hat.
Go Dogs.
So before we get started, I'm Zack. This is Jason. We are the co-hosts of Hustle Machine, and we run a company called Market House. And we have 20 plus years in marketing and branding and website development between the two of us. And here we are talking about hustle culture and redefining what the word hustle means in our Western culture today. So that leads me into, if you're following the news, sports news, that is, there's some beef going on, Jason. There's some beef going on.
Let's get into some tasty beef. I want to hear about it.
You want to hear about some? Okay, so
yeah,
there has been a lot of rocks being thrown in the SEC world, specifically the SEC West, right? Texas A&M's West. Yeah, Texas A&M's West. Where Nick Saban, who, in the words of Jimbo Fisher, calls him the football czar, how we've lifted him as the football czar. I don't know why he went czar on that. Like, you could go a million different directions. Why football czar? I have no idea, but that's what he said. He said we've lifted him up to be this football czar. And forgive me really quick because I may miss some details, but the general idea will be there. So Nick Saban was at I guess it was like a business leadership like mastermind or conference or something. He was guest speaker.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him about how college football players can now make money outside of, like, they don't have to wait to the pros to get that, which
a very big controversial change.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence on that, to be honest with you. I'm kind of on the fence where I get that these schools are making tons of money off merchandise that have these kids' names on them, have their numbers on them. They're making tons of money off that.
Yep.
That's a bummer. Yeah. But, if the money all goes back into the program, then they are sort of getting rewarded that way. What I'm afraid of, this is just a side note.
Are they, though?
Have you seen the facilities they are in? Like,
but like, imagine you're like the star running back on a team, and every kid's buying your jersey. Yeah, every kid's out there. Yeah, every kid's out there buying your jersey. Like, wouldn't that guy walk in and be like, "This is my house. Like, this is literally like I'm paying for this." Like, I feel like that would give you an even bigger ego at that point. Like, I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. Like, I feel like there should be some compensation if the school is selling merch and like they're making money off of their name. But like,
most of these kids are going to school for free though. Like that is.
I'm thinking like they shouldn't be compensated right then though. Like, I'm not talking about like they should be driving around in like nice cars and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I think maybe it's something that like goes into like a scholarship or gets fed back into like some account that they can access after college. Like, they have to graduate to get it. Like, I feel like there should be some kind of rules. I feel like we went from, this is not just like a football show for those people who just listened for the very first time, but like, I feel like we went from the extreme where kids are getting penalized, school programs are getting like heavy fines levied against them.
Yeah.
If these things are found out. Yeah. If these things happen, like kids, like they can have their whole lives ruined and their whole career trajectory just blown off course. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah. You can make a lot of money now. Just come on. It's like, where was the middle ground? Like, I think we just went from one extreme to the other.
I agree with you. But one of the things Nick Saban actually says, he said that only 24 of his players were eligible to have any sort of sponsorship. That kind of sucks. If you're sitting in the locker room and you're putting up good numbers, but somebody else is getting this massive deal, and then the next day they come in driving like a tricked out car. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, to your point, this is not a football show. This is not a sports related show. We could go down a route, but I don't want to. But basically the gist is somebody asked Nick Saban about this very topic and what his thoughts were on how it's going to change the game. And I personally feel like it's going to turn it to the NFL. There's going to be lots of problems that's going to come from this. I really do. And one of those problems is where Nick Saban made the claim. He said that what's happening is a lot of these programs are creating what's called collectives. And these collectives are funded by alumni or funded by people who just like the sport, the team, and they have a lot of money and they want to put money towards it. And then they're essentially, they're creating like a marketing firm based out of this collective that is now funneling money. And so they know how much the coaches know how much is in this collective, and they go after and say, I can guarantee you're going to get this much. Come play at my program. And then this is where the bomb
about night and day. Night and day. Did you ever watch that show Friday Night Lights back in the day? I don't know if you ever watched it, but there was a whole character arc for one of these kids who was being courted by one of the colleges, and they were like trying to throw money at him and stuff like that. Saying, "Hey, we're gonna make your whole life better. Like your mom's gonna be so much better off, and all this stuff." And he was like, his coach wanted him to just kind of like ignore the whole thing. Sorry if I'm butchering the whole arc of Friday Night Lights. It's been a year. It's been a while since I've watched it. But the whole thing is like this. It's like what I was saying earlier. It's like these kids are being thrown all this stuff at them, and they're not ready. They're not ready to deal with this. And you got some kids back in the day who were just like, you know what? I'm not going to go after that. I want to go play ball where I want to play ball. It's not about, having all these perks. But we went from not having that to having collectives with marketing budgets. And this is how much you get if you this is wild. This is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so here's where the stone is being thrown. Okay. So he's laying all this out. You can tell he hesitates to say what he's about.
Jimbo.
No, this is Nick Saban.
Oh, Saban.
You can tell Saban is a little bit hesitant, and then he's just like, whatever. He said, last year we were number 1 in recruiting. This year we were number 2, right behind Texas A&M. He said, A&M bought all of their players. And then he goes on, and you're just like,
yeah.
Well, it landed. It hit Jimbo. And there was a follow-up press conference where I don't know if it was after a practice or I don't know what. There was a press conference. And they asked Jimbo, said, hey, I don't know if you recently heard the comments, and he's already shaking his head. He's like, about what Nick Saban has said about your program. Would you like to comment? He goes, yeah, I'd like to comment on that. Of course he's going to.
I've got some words for you.
I got a few things to say about this. And he basically says, listen, I worked with a guy. I'm very close with the guy. And if you want to have any information about how he's done things over the years, I know what he's done. He just says, I know what he's done. And the people who work for him know what he's done and how he does it. And go ask any of them. They'll tell you what he's done. And you're like, what has he done? Now I want to know. The way you set that up, you can't just be like, no, you say it.
Yeah.
He threw a stone in your yard. Go throw one back. And I don't know. But the point is, so we lean into that to talk about hustle culture, because this is a sort of stuff that you typically will see in a hustle culture world where people are just stepping and climbing over the other person in order to get to where they want to be. And it's like a dog eat dog type situation. Now, in this situation, none of us are naive enough to believe that none of these other programs are doing this. I wouldn't be surprised if all of them have some sort of thing happening like this. Yeah. And the thing is like Nick Saban didn't just go after Jimbo Fisher. He went after Deion Sanders and like all of this stuff. So he's like,
leave Deion's program alone. He's so tiny. Just leave that guy alone. Leave the guy alone. He just wants to play football with his kids. Let the man play football with his kids.
He's missing some toes. Give the guy some breaks. Like, give him a break.
Wait,
do you know about that?
No.
Yeah, look it up. He got some toes cut off. Yeah.
I'm about to go into a weird internet, y'all. I'm looking up Deion Sanders toes.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. Look, what are you doing this for?
I'm hiding. I'm like half looking at the screen because I don't want to. Get it off. For some reason,
if you guys
failed to. Okay, so I work on the computer all day, every day for work. In that moment of panic, I forgot where the back button was on my screen. How do I go back? I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't even know why.
If anybody is listening to this, Jason was covering his eyes because he didn't want to see like he's looking off into the distance type thing. Anyways,
yeah.
So we can look at the situation and think about how this pertains to a hustle culture thought process. And Nick Saban he's kind of losing some of his luster, right? All these other programs, since this whole thing is opened up where they can make money, a lot of these schools are looking at it as a way to leverage themselves over some of these top dog schools, and that have just good programs and they're getting great success from it. But the thing is, what you're seeing now is he's trying to climb on everybody else and step. No, I'm king of the hill. I'm king of the hill. Everybody. And that's what hustle culture does, right? So hustle culture they'll knock you down just to get you to the top, just to keep yourself at the top, keep yourself at the top. There could be a sea of bodies behind you that you've just demolished. Maybe they've demolished their careers or squashed them to the point where they just give up on their dreams. And that's what hustle culture is. And it's so, we've said this word a lot about how it's toxic, and that's the mentality. And that's the reason we really formed Hustle Machine, is because we see that the different aspects of hustle culture and how it's played out. Now, I haven't really experienced that in my own life with hustle culture, but I have seen that in other people's lives that have been affected by something similar to this situation, where they're just being stepped on, and no matter how hard they push, they keep getting pushed down by somebody else. And it's a dangerous game. It's just a dangerous game. And
I think, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but one of my previous careers, I worked on a marketing team, and we used to have to give these big, like, company-wide presentations, like semi-annually or whatever. I can't remember how often it was, but we used to have to give these really big presentations, and there was a lot of stress and a lot of pressure around it. And because it dealt with perspective of the program and the company as a whole and budgeting, and there was like a lot of stress surrounding it. And after one of the prep sessions before we went into a meeting, it was the first time I was going to be actually delivering part of it. And one of the execs on our team was like, make sure you say we a lot. And I was like, okay. And then I didn't think about it until later. And I was like, we, like, cause I guess I was saying I a lot when I was prepping. And she was like, make sure you say we a lot. Like, instead of saying I, say we, like, cause it's like a team thing. And I was like, I went through the presentation and I said we a whole bunch. We. Anyway, and when I finished, I was like unpacking it in my head. I was like, did I just share credit with like everybody? Like, I was getting at talking about what I was doing. And at first it like really irked me. I was like, man, like, and I'm interested to see what people will think about this. So I would love to have feedback on this, what I'm about to say. But at first I was really irritated. I was like, I did all this work. I did this. Like, I want my light to shine bright right now. And I feel like I just shared work with an entire team, and not everybody pitched in on this particular project. And it really bothered me for a while. And then I was like, you know what? And then after I kept thinking about it, I was like, you know what? We were presenting as a team. We were talking about what we've done as a team. I think I can take my light and I can shine it, we can shine it across everybody, and we can all excel. We can all reap the benefits. We can all be happy. We can all get the congratulations for a job well done. And I think that's fine. It didn't diminish my career trajectory at all. I continued to excel in the company and ended up in an even higher position down the road from there after that meeting. But I think it's a really important thing that you can do as a group and working as a team inside of a business. If you're not just like a solo person, like you can share the wins. You can share the wins with your team, and it doesn't have to be like, maybe you did do it all, but like, I feel like the people responsible would know that. Like, they would know, okay, this is very obviously Zach's work. Like, you did this, you did a great job. Pat on the back. Here's your raise, whatever. But when it's time for everybody to get a little of the spotlight, I think it's okay to kind of share that. And I think that helps the workplace too. Like, it gives everybody a chance to get some congratulations, because there are some people who don't want that publicly, but they do want to feel like they've done a good job. Like, they don't need the limelight, but saying we gets congratulations for the whole program. So I think using the we phrasing, I think that's one way that you can combat that inside your own workplace. If you do work in a larger company, is trying to just share those wins, instead of it just being all about you. I don't think, I really don't think it's going to change anything.
So I think if you are listening and you're an entrepreneur, you have a team, because we do this even with our team, like we give credit where it's due. If a specific team member has done really well on a certain project, we congratulate them. But in general, when we're talking to a client or anything like that, it is the we conversation, because it is a collective of just our team. And I think it depends on what kind of culture you want to create in your own company.
Right.
And what we're saying is there's a toxic mentality, thought process with this dog eat dog. It creates one argument could be that it creates a like a competitiveness, a healthy competitiveness. Okay, sure, I could see that argument. But when it ends up happening is people end up stepping over each other, and then it becomes a dangerous game, right? Where you're turning your team against each other.
Right.
And it should be creating some sort of unity among your team. And that's what you should be trying to pursue, not trying to promote it. Whenever you start to promote and talk about one specific person on a team, you start to create some jealousy. I'm not saying that every time you got to go and compliment every single member on the team. Sure, talk about the collective, but the we part, and maybe give a pat on the back to somebody privately. It just starts to create this culture that becomes a toxic environment. Now that you say that, I have seen that before in the past, with some people end up getting into meetings and don't want to share certain things until the meeting. So they get the credit. So if the person's presenting, they don't say it and make that other person like the genius in the whole situation and act like they take the credit. And so then you start creating this part where people are withholding information so that they can say it.
Yeah.
Which could be detrimental to the client, could be detrimental to the business. So congratulating everybody as a whole.
Well, I think what you're saying right there is you're thinking, it's like you shift from thinking short term in your business to long term, right? And so there's healthy competition, right? You can have healthy competition, especially if you have a few different people on your team who's equally capable of fulfilling a task, and you're let's just throw it out there and let's see who does the better job. That's fine. We've done that with copywriters. Like, okay, let's see who does better with this project. But if that's like becomes your business culture, it's like pitting everybody against everybody. I mean, that's always going to kind of be there a little bit in sales, to an extent. But like when everything in your business comes down to everybody going against everybody, like, for one, where does that stop? Does it bleed into other departments? Like, is it account managers versus account managers? And are there like KPI boards everywhere? It's like sales managers and account managers and sales staff and copywriters and executive assistants and custodial staff. Like where does it end in the business? And then so you start to think long term with your mindset and say, okay, well, how can we build this company in the long run? Like, what are the things that we need to actually do that competitive thing to increase business and to increase morale? Because some people respond well to that. But at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of it's necessary, because I think it hurts you. I think it hurts you in the long run. Because you're not actually building a team, right? And I think that's what a lot of people these days want to do. Like, they want to build a business, but they also want to build a team. I know for me and for you as well, like when we left our other jobs, we were there way more than we were with our family. I mean, you were working from home a little bit more than I was, because of how you had your agreement set up. But like, I was gone like all day long, and I would see my kids at dinner, and then we put them to bed, and I'd see them the next morning, and after breakfast they'd go off to school. And it's not that much different now, but at least in the evenings I get maybe like an extra hour, and then in the mornings I get like an extra half an hour and stuff before
they come and work well, you get them to come in your office and work, and you can take a break and go outside.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or I sit outside on the patio while my daughter's like on the swing or something like that. But like, there's different things that you can do to shift up to create a more wholesome, business. And it's not like we're trying to promote like a goody two shoes kind of thing, but like, business can be successful and kind at the same time.
Yes.
Like, they're not mutually exclusive. They can exist in the same space.
Right. And I think that basically the point of this podcast today, this episode, I should say, is just looking at analyzing what kind of culture you do have, if you have a team, and if you don't have a team and you're looking to build a team, these are the sorts of things you got to think through. Because just like that whole situation with Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, they were friends. I mean, they were coworkers together. You see them being very cordial before all this. Now Nick Saban is feeling threatened by his kingship as, what was it Jimbo called him? The football czar?
The czar, yeah.
He's feeling threatened. He's built an incredible program at Alabama. Like, no one can deny that. Even as a Georgia fan, it pains me to say it, but he's built an incredible program. And now that he's feeling threatened by that, his legacy is in jeopardy, which it's really not, but you can see where he could feel that way.
Yeah.
Now you see him throwing stones at other people just to keep himself at the top. Well, what it did is it makes him look kind of silly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that amount. Now you're being petty. I'm taking my ball and going home. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like. And
well, I think with careers and with Saban's an entrepreneur. I mean, the guy is everywhere, especially in the off season. And he's got like this deal with Aflac and stuff like that. Deion too. And it's all over the place. And
yeah,
he's got high visibility. And the thing is, when you become your own brand, right? Like when your brand is you, like say Saban is Alabama, but like Saban is Saban at the end of the day too. Like he is Alabama football. But like when that gets attacked, I feel like when it's you and your brand, like you are under attack, because that is your whole existence is wrapped up in that thing that you do. There's not like, it's not like he's like, oh man, that stinks. But I also love my woodworking, and at least they're not attacking me on my woodworking skills. It's like, it's football is everything to him. And when you have these dog eat dog environments in the business world, and you feel threatened, and you might not be as successful as you want to be, and maybe you didn't knock it out of the park recently, and you really haven't had your light shine at work. You can feel threatened because your entire existence is wrapped up inside of that job.
What
that
you do. Sure.
Right. And for some people who are completely like, I am my job, that can be devastating, and that can lead to it can lead to serious health issues too, because like, it's like, you can't take the fact that, you're anything but perfect. And you're not the top dog, and you're not the one bringing in all the money for the business anymore. It's like, it's devastating.
Yeah. I mean, this example, they are in a football it's a competition. Like that is the goal. Work doesn't have to be, but we've made it into that. And I feel like with the hustle culture, it's always, what's the saying that we've heard people say is like, if you're not going after it, somebody else is. Okay, well, there's not enough in the sea, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I may not build a team I may not build a corporation that's got 100 employees. It may just be me. Okay. Some people like that. Some people don't want anything bigger than that.
Yeah.
Some people just don't see it as like, I just see it as a fun hobby that I can make some money off of. I don't really want to do it full time. I kind of enjoy what I do, but this is just something fun I could do.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of point I'm trying to get at is, yes, the example we gave is competition. That's what drives it. That's the name of the game for them.
Yeah.
But business doesn't have to be that way. The hustle culture has turned it to that. And again, makes it sound like if you're not going constantly and you're not running yourself in the ground, and then somebody else is doing that and they're going to pass you.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that's even the case.
Yeah. Take a breather.
Like,
take a break.
Take a breather.
Right. Okay.
And don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. Well, one of the favorite things I've seen recently, with one of the streamers that I watch, he posts a lot of content, and he was at a point where he was like, you know what, I feel really burned out. It's either I slow down now, take a beat, and do something different for just a minute, or something's gonna I'm gonna burn out completely. I'm gonna crash, and it's not gonna work. And he took a month off. He took a month off of producing content, and he did some charity thing where he rode his bike across Europe. He lives in the UK, and he rode his bike, and like he occasionally checked in on social media. And then when he was done with his month breather, he came back full force, locked in, and has been producing content ever since, and it's been top notch. So I didn't see anybody gunning for him. All of his friends in the communities that he posts content with were very supportive. They were excited he was back. They shared his content even more when he came back, announcing that he's been back after a month off. Like, business can be kind. I'll just reiterate that. Like business can be kind.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be dog eat dog. Like if you build up a network and a community surrounding yourself that is supportive of the fact that you want to be the best you that you can be because you are searching for your joy, boom. Like business can be kind.
Right? The people who are overly competitive, they're trying to prove something to themselves. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In business, there's an insecurity. There's an insecurity there. And that's not healthy. If you dig deep down, like you said, I think business can be kind. You're right. I think it absolutely can be. And it should be. It should be where the natural instinct is to say we, right? Yeah. We did this. We accomplished this. Who cares if I did 80% of the work and they did 20% of the work? We still did it together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We still accomplished this. And I think that if you have that natural tendency to be overly competitive to the point where you're willing to drag everybody down in their careers, if that's going on, there's an insecurity happening, and you got to check that. Yeah, because it's only going to make you look really bad, and it's only going to make things worse for you in the long run. So that's all I got to say about that. Yeah. So,
well, lead us out, brother.
Well, I appreciate you guys listening to our story today about football. If you're not a football fan, sorry, but I think you can connect with this. Most people can connect with feeling this way and feeling for both characters in that situation, the Nick Saban in this scenario and the Jimbo Fisher in this situation, and being able to put yourself in their shoes. And basically the idea is, if you're building a team, if you have a team, look at your culture, see what kind of culture you're building. Is it happening where it's this dog eat dog situation? What can you do to make some adjustments? And if you're looking to build a team, how can you set the guidelines now in order for that not to be the case once you get in there? And if you're not an entrepreneur and you're looking to be an entrepreneur and you're in a situation like that, how can you be the change in your environment to make that shift so that it's not a sea of people being squished down? If you're a manager or whatever, what could you do in your team to help that from growing into that toxic thought process? So you guys can find us anywhere you subscribe to your podcasts. Look for us up on social media. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe and all those things. Comment, share, all those things. So we appreciate you guys. And until next time.
Bye. Go Dogs.
Peace. Go Dogs.